But now it's home to some of the most advanced technology on the planet and some of the world's most innovative office buildings.
When it comes to China, you know they're not just one of the biggest nations in the world, but one of the fastest growing ones in terms of modernization. They're intentionally trying to go and craft their nation to be as advanced as possible in manners like city design, transportation, infrastructure, and more. And they're succeeding in ways that the rest of the world is honestly trying to catch up in. Now, they've recently unveiled one of their boldest plans yet, a futuristic city the size of Manhattan that could change everything for the nation. Allow us to show you how China is building a $1.2 billion futuristic city. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 7. The Future City. So let's get right to it, shall we? Technology giant Tencent has unveiled plans for an almost entirely car-free city of the future, equivalent in size to Monaco in the Chinese metropolis of Shenzhen. Dubbed Net City, the 2 million square meter, 22 million square foot urban development will prioritize pedestrians, green spaces, and self-driving vehicles according to its designers. The ambitious city within a city is set to occupy a stretch of reclaimed land jutting out into the Pearl River estuary. Designed to accommodate a population of some 80,000 people, the site will primarily serve Tencent, the conglomerate behind WeChat and China's popular QQ messaging service. But as well as providing company residences and offices, the neighborhood is expected to host shops, schools, and other public amenities, and will be connected to the rest of Shenzhen via road bridges, ferries, and the city's subway system. The American firm behind the master plan, NBBJ, hopes that the new district's entertainment venues, parks, and waterside promenade will attract visitors from elsewhere in the city. As such, the plan differs from the enclosed campuses pioneered by big tech companies in recent years, according to Jonathan Ward, a design partner at NBBJ. It's definitely a destination and has a civic component, he said in a phone interview. It's not meant to be an isolated, secure island. It's a vibrant city. People will walk through it, they'll connect, and it'll be a vital hub for Shenzhen. So as you can see, it really is being designed to be a kind of future city, especially in regards to its no-car element. Number 6. The No-Car Zone City. With an unusually large vacant plot to work with, NBBJ, which won an international competition to design the site, was able to rethink the car's role in urban planning, Ward said. Our main goal was to provide a place where innovation can really flourish, he explained. To do that, we tried to minimize the impact of the car as much as possible. Going car-free is still a little bit challenging in our world, so we spent a lot of time designing the city to be as low impact as possible, removing cars from where they don't need to be and focusing on people. Although regular cars will be able to access some parts of the neighborhood, the plan centers around a green corridor designed for buses, bikes, and autonomous vehicles. The layout eliminates what Ward called unnecessary traffic. You don't need one block surrounded by roads. You can maybe have 8 blocks surrounded by a road and take away all the ones in between, he said. We've been subtracting roads in places where we think it's perfectly fine for people to walk 2 minutes longer from a subway or a taxi drop-off. And in those 2 minutes, you might see something inspiring, connect to nature, or meet a colleague you haven't seen for a while. All those things you can see happening in a workplace environment can happen in a city. Believe it or not, China has been one of the leaders in trying to not just get electric cars into their nation. They've been a big supporter of Tesla, as Elon Musk will happily tell you. But they've been trying to innovate in their own ways with electric cars, solar panels to power cities, and more to try and limit the need for gas and thus keep the environment clean. China has had a bad habit of being a nation where its cities are filled with noxious gases, and this future city is one step towards changing that. Number 5. Making the city truly interconnected. As well as integrating with Shenzhen's wider urban fabric, NBBJ's master plan is designed to offer what it calls an interconnected, human-focused organic ecosystem. For Tencent employees, this may mean eroding the distinction between their work and private lives, an idea that has become all the more relevant in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, Ward said. Traditional cities are very much siloed, even in the densest cities where there's more interaction and intermixing, he added. But what can happen now is you can start to blur those lines between work and play and bring more interaction between different parts of life. You're seeing more blurring of those lines for better or for worse. But I think we can make it for the better as we tune this model going forward, he added. Elsewhere, the master plan considers environmental sustainability with rooftop solar panels and elaborate systems for capturing and reusing wastewater. Planners also looked at projections for future sea level rises to ensure that buildings are better protected against climate change, which is another thing China is known for in certain ways. Tencent's Net City will take around 7 years to complete, with construction already underway. The dozens of individual buildings, which will range from 1 to 30 floors in height, will be designed by a variety of different architecture firms. Number 4. Why the need for a true future city? This is a question you might be honestly asking because the idea of a $1.2 billion city, let alone made by Tencent, who don't exactly have the best reputation in certain things, might seem like a little much when you consider you could just go and use that $1.2 billion to fix other things wrong with China, right? But here's the thing. In their own way, they're actually doing just that. As we've shown you, this isn't just a business city. It's a city that embraces nature, doesn't allow cars in many of its places, focuses on solar panels to power everything, and is trying to make the city feel vibrant and alive. China has been working hard to undergo a cultural revolution of sorts, as well as a modernization boom, to try and shapeshift their nation into a more futuristic entity. The results speak for themselves, and this city is aiming to be something truly special. But it won't be alone. Number 3. Chengdu Future Science and Technology City. Yes, it's true. China isn't just going and investing in one future city, they're making many of them. One of which was unveiled in February of this year, with this one featuring an urban design intended to combine industry and technology with the pastoral beauty of the countryside. The 4.6 square kilometer, 1.8 square mile site outside Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, will be home to multiple new universities, laboratories, and offices, according to the architectural firms behind the project, Office for Metropolitan Architecture, OMA, and Gherkin Marg & Partners, GMP. The development is being built in a rural area close to the forthcoming Tianfu International Airport, which is set to open later this year and will make Chengdu only the third Chinese city, after Beijing and Shanghai, to be served by 2 international airports. Digital renderings of the educational park show a sprawl of buildings with greenery on their roofs, curving in layers like the topography of terraced rice paddies. The buildings, which include university buildings, dorms, national laboratories, and offices, mimic the hilly landscape to form a valley, with an 80,000 square foot building nestled at its center. Number 2. Sharing the load. The other main reason for these new future cities isn't just ambience or to say that they are future cities, it's to share the load, if you will, with the other cities. Because if you recall, over 1 billion people live in China alone, and that's why it's one of the most populated nations in the world. Their projections state by 2035, over 1 billion people will live in their cities, and right now, they don't have the space. Thus, they're making these future cities, as well as satellite cities, to funnel people towards, so that some of their major cities like Beijing won't be overcrowded. So they're not just testing out future cities, they're building places for people to live in bulk. Number 1. More future cities across the world? While China may be leading the way in certain ways with these futuristic cities, they aren't alone in building them. You might have heard of Akon City, which is aiming to arrive in Senegal within a certain amount of time, and even Elon Musk is working on plans for a futuristic city. In short, the ideas of future cities are wide and are only limited to the builders' imaginations. So if China is going to build future cities, we say have at it, and we look forward to seeing them finished. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the future city that China is trying to build? Can you believe that they're aiming to make something this big and grand? What do you think of their goals for it? Do you feel that they can actually pull this all together when their time comes? And if so, will they try and build another city like it right after? Let us know in the comments below, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.